So you did it. All those late nights, the risks you took, the endless hard work, it actually paid off. You've got the money, the success, the recognition, and seriously, congratulations. That's an incredible achievement. But here's the thing. Now the really hard part begins. Learning how to use that wealth, not just to live well, but to build a life that's genuinely happy and fulfilling. I want to start with a personal story, if that's okay. A mistake I made early on. When I got my first big win, the first thing I bought was meant to prove to everyone that I'd arrived. It was this massive, imposing wall around my property. I thought it was a symbol of success. But you know what it really was? A monument to my own isolation. I learned a huge lesson the hard way, and it's a lesson I really want to share with you today. You know, the biggest risk you're facing right now, it isn't a bad investment or the market taking a nosedive. It's way more subtle than that. It's this dangerous little idea that can creep in. The belief that you did this 100% on your own. And let me tell you, that belief is a fast track to being really, really unhappy. Okay, let's put a name to this thing. I call it the arrogance trap. And what's so important to get is that this isn't some kind of character flaw. It's a totally predictable psychological pitfall that honestly a ton of successful people stumble right into. The good news? Once you can see the path, you can make sure you don't walk down it. So how does this even happen? Well, it's kind of like a four-step journey. First, you have that major success. Then you start to really buy into that self-made myth, telling yourself you did it all with no help from anyone. That leads you to start spending your money to prove your status to everyone. And that's when you start quietly and surely pushing away the very people who supported you all along. And this right here, this is the perfect way to describe it. It's like you spend all this time and energy and money building this gorgeous fortress, only to look around and realize you're the only prisoner inside. It's a very lonely victory. But there is an antidote. There's a really powerful shift in your mindset that can protect you from this trap and unlock a much deeper, more connected kind of happiness. And it's a concept I call the luck premium. So what on earth is the luck premium? It's really simple. It's just recognizing that a huge slice of your success came from stuff completely outside of your control, things like luck and timing. Now the trap here is just to nod and say, oh yeah, I get it, be humble. That's just intellectualizing it. True strength is when you actually acknowledge this luck, not just in your head, but in your actions, and especially in how you spend your money. And we're not talking about some vague, fuzzy concept here. Let's get really specific. Just think about these three huge things for a second. You didn't choose the country you were born in. You didn't pick the family that raised you. And you certainly didn't control the economic timing you walked into. And yet, those factors have an absolutely massive impact on your chances of success. Now check this out. This chart quantifies just one of those luck factors, and it's pretty staggering. Look at the insane difference in what people earn based on nothing more than where they happen to be born. Your hard work is totally essential, don't get me wrong, but the starting line you were given by pure chance put you miles ahead of most of the planet. And this brings us to the central point of this whole explainer. It's not just a nice little saying, it's a moral imperative that comes with good fortune. If you acknowledge how lucky you've been, then kindness and generosity, they aren't optional. They're the required response. It's how you pay your luck premium. So, what does this actually look like in real life? It means you get a whole new playbook for how you spend your money. If the old playbook was all about spending to prove your status, the new one is all about spending to build connection. And that, right there, is where wealth starts creating real, lasting joy. Here it is. This is the fundamental choice you have every single time you spend $1. Is this purchase building another wall, or is it building a bridge? Is this about impressing strangers, or is it about connecting with the people you love? One path benefits only you and, well, it leads to isolation. The other benefits everyone and builds this strong, supportive community around you. Let's make this super concrete. Say you've got $80,000 of discretionary cash. Option 1, you could buy a flashy status car that kind of isolates you in this little luxury bubble. Or you could use that exact same money to create what I call a connection fund. That's enough to take 10 of your absolute favorite people on an incredible $8,000 trip every single year for a decade. Which asset do you think pays better emotional dividends? The quick hit from buying a luxury thing for yourself, or the lasting joy of giving an amazing experience to people you love. And this applies to everything, even the classic symbol of making it, the big house. That house isn't really a home until it's filled with laughter and friends. Its true value has nothing to do with the square footage. It's about its capacity to be a hub for your community, a place where you can host holidays, celebrations, or just a simple backyard barbecue. Okay, so this might all sound great, but how do you actually start? I want to give you 3 immediate, totally actionable pivots you can make, like right now, that will lock in your peace of mind for the future. Here they are. It's this simple. First, actively choose to fund experiences instead of just buying more objects. Second, when you do buy something big, think of it as a shared space, not your own private fortress. And third, treat your relationships like your most valuable investment. Reinvest in them. That could mean a trip, sure, but it could also mean helping a sibling with a down payment or setting up a college fund for your niece. Those are the kinds of investments that build a life, not just a portfolio. And let me be really clear here. This is not about being cheap or feeling guilty about your money. Not at all. It's about being smart. It's about redirecting your spending toward the only asset that truly appreciates over a lifetime. The one thing that no amount of money can ever buy back once it's gone. Genuine, strong human connections. All right, let's bring this all home. Let's lay out your action plan. This is how you make that conscious shift from the default path of isolation to a truly connected and much happier life. Just look at this contrast. The then column, that's the default path. That's the arrogance trap. The goal is status. The metric is your circle of influence. The source of pride is saying, I'm self-made. But the now column, that's the path to fulfillment. The goal is relationships. That discretionary money becomes a group travel fund. The social metric isn't how many people you know, but the strength of your friendships. And your source of pride? It comes from a humble, honest acknowledgement that you're incredibly lucky. We've talked a whole lot about spending money, but the most powerful step you can possibly take to start down this path, it doesn't cost a single cent. All it takes is a little bit of humility and maybe 2 minutes of your time. That's it. It's that simple. Pick up your phone, call a mentor, a former boss, a teacher, a friend who was there for you when things were tough. Don't ask for anything. Just tell them you are thinking about them and say thank you. That is the very first payment on your luck premium. And trust me, it's the beginning of a truly rich life.